Welcome to DAX Wednesdays, our bi-weekly video episode on DAX formulas and how to use them.
In today's video, we're going to have a look at a DAX function called parallel period. This DAX function belongs to the time intelligence family of DAX functions. Let's switch to Power BI for the demonstration. So over here, we have a data set ready for the demonstration with these 5 columns. Customer segment, we got a sales column, which is nothing but the quantity multiplied by price per unit, and the last column, which is order date. If we were to sort this column in increasing order, you'll see the date range is between January 2012 to December 2015. So we're talking about a 4-year date range. If you're following along, just make sure that this order date column has the following data type, date, and the format selected is, let's move to the report view. Over here, we're going to create a table. We can do that by clicking on this table visualization icon. This will drag the visualization over here, expand it like this. We're going to populate this table with few columns. First, order date. As you can see over here, the order date has been added into the table, but not in the manner that we want it to be. So just click on the downward arrow over here and select order date. Now you see the order date column has been modified in the manner we want, month followed by year number. Now we'll add the sales column to this table. We check this box. So now you see the sales for the corresponding month in that year has been added. So we see all these values such as 98,000 for January 2012, 114,000 for April 2012, and so on. Now we're going to create the measure in which we'll be using our parallel period DAX function. So click on the 3 dots over here. You select new measure. Now we're going to provide a name to this measure. So sum parallel period. Firstly, we'll put in calculate. Now the calculate DAX function asks for 2 arguments. First is the expression, which is nothing but the sum of sales that we want. So we type in sum, and then we select the column in the table which is orders sales. Just remember to close the bracket once you have filled in the argument. It's like this. Then we put a comma. Now the calculate DAX function is asking for the next argument, which is the filter argument. This is where we'll be using our DAX function parallel period. Select this one. Now let's see what are the 3 arguments that the DAX function parallel period is asking for. First is asking for the dates. So over here we'll be putting in the dates column, order date column from our table orders. So we type in orders and then we select order date. So this was the first argument. We put in a comma. Then it is asking for number of intervals. If you had seen one of our previous videos on date add, number of intervals are nothing but the number of steps that we want to put in. So over here, let's put in -1. Next, if when we type comma, parallel period is asking for the interval argument. So it's asking us, okay, you have provided me the number of steps, but what is the unit of steps that you want? Is it 1 month? Is it 1 quarter? Or is it 1 year? So for the sake of this demonstration, we'll select month and we'll close this bracket. So now you see the measure has been added to the data model. Now, in order to add this measure in our table visualization, we'll just check this box. And now you'll see the measure has returned us the values for the previous month. Since we put in -1 and month, it has provided us value for the previous month. For instance, what was the value for January 2012 if we are in the row of February 2012? It is providing values diagonally. Now, what if I want to change it to not to the previous month, 5 months before? All right, so I'll just type in -5 over here, and you'll see the visualization has updated itself. And for June 2012, it has provided us the value for January 2012, which was 5 months before June. And not only this, if we want to go, let's say, 1 month forward, so you just type in +1. Now you'll see the table visualization has been updated. For January 2012, we have the sales for that month. We can see the sales for the next month as well, for February 2012. So it has provided us values in their diagonal manner, but in this sense. And not only month, you can even change the unit to quarter or year. So let's put in quarter. Try to choose quarter and say okay. Now what it has done, it has added the values for 3 months in the future. So if we were to add 114 plus 158 and 207, it would give us 480,000. So between April 2012 and June 2012, it has added all these sales and provided us the value in the rows for January 2012, February 2012, and March 2012. So this is the way in which you can use this DAX function parallel period. Now let's see where this DAX function parallel period rank among all the time intelligence functions that we have seen so far. I have put it down at number 2. Above previous month and same period last year. You already know for these two, these DAX functions are not as flexible as date add and parallel period. And the reason I have put parallel period at number 2 and not 1 or tied with date add at number 1 is because, let me go back to Power BI to show you. We have already have this date add measure in our data model. So I'll just click on this box. Now, if I were to click on the date add DAX function, the reason I prefer date add over parallel period is for the third argument, you have options of day, month, quarter, year. Whereas in parallel period, we only saw the last three, which was month, quarter, and year. So date add lets you go down one step further into days rather than parallel period, which remains at month and cannot go beyond day. So I show you what parallel period does over here. So if I were to change this third argument, you will see it only has 3 possible values: month, quarter, and year, whereas date add has 4. But it's not only that. As you can see in our table visualization, that how date add and parallel period differ with each other. For instance, the date add measure only provided us individual values of sales which are 1 quarter in advance. For instance, for January 2012, it gave us the value of sales in April 2012, whereas parallel period provided us the sum of all the 3 months which are in the next quarter. So it provided us a sum of the 3 months, whereas date add only provided us the individual sales value. So parallel period and date add have their own individual advantages and disadvantages of using them in your data model. You need to know which one to choose, when to choose it, depending on the outcome that you require. Nevertheless, so that's the reason I have ranked date add above parallel period. So let me know in the comments of what you thought about this video. Do not forget to like and subscribe. I will see you in the next video.